happy early morning, everybody. Snow day today. Well, last night, so it took me a second to get into the office, but I did it. Yet we're doing an early show, and all the praise goes to me. No, I'm just kidding. I will say that the praise today goes to John Roca. So the reason, a lot of different reasons to do the show early today, and we've been shooting the Marvel reactions, and I needed to get Sam in here to watch Civil War. The only time she had was around the time we do the live show. So I reached out to John and I said, "Look, what's the earliest you can do?" He said, "What's the latest you can do?" So and then I told him what I needed to get done, and he was very gracious with his time. He woke up early, and there we go. So we're gonna do a lot of different things. I had heard some news, and it's very interesting indeed, that Lucasfilm wants somebody to come back, and have been in talks. And if this character comes back, I think they'll be excited, to be honest. So we'll discuss that and more. Wolverine, talking about a character that's been around for a bit. Well, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, apparently he's going to be playing the character literally until he's like 100 years old. And then box office stuff. John's got a big win with his Commanders. And TikTok. It's gone. It's back. It's gone. Where is it? We're going to discuss that and more. So, one of the things that John has been texting me about is, of course, that the two-man team is unfair against his single ass. So, show him today that he can beat Winston and Coy. Let's do it. All right. I know it's early, so thanks for being with me here today. It is the Kristian Harloff Show. John Roca, myself. Let's do it. Welcome back, one and all, to the Kristian Harloff Show, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Joining me on the show today, right out of bed, John Roca. I know.
Me. Yeah.
Thank you for being here, buddy.
No, it's quite all right. It's quite all right.
Yeah, it's like we're on a roll with these MCU reactions right now. People are really digging them, and I wanted to make sure that I had it out because we're putting out Ant-Man today.
Nice.
And then we have a few others that are out there that I think that people are gonna dig with Civil War and all this other stuff, because Sam still hasn't seen a lot of this stuff. Hasn't seen any of the MCU, so we're pumped about it.
Right on, man. No, that's good. Knock it out. Have fun with it. No, it's no big deal. I mean, let me tell you something, people. When you get up in age, getting up earlier is a bit of a drag, but you can make it happen. You just have to go to bed at 9 or 10 o'clock in the night, which is a very strange thing for me.
When it's coming, it's true. It's because, the thing is, look, last night I went to bed early enough, and I told my wife, I said, I got to be out of the house at in 8:30, get here at 8:45 so I can set things up.
Right.
Well, I didn't take into account the snow. We had 3 to 5 inches of snow last night. And I'm like, I'll just clean the shit in the morning. Out there scraping both cars, shoveling the snow, doing all this shit. And I'm like, oh man, I had to let my car run, make sure it melted all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I forgot this is how this works. So people are like, did he put the right time? Someone tweet him and let him know he put the wrong time on the show. I'm like, no, it's the right time. And we were aware that not everybody was everybody's probably sleeping still, but hopefully with the story that we break, people will come back and visit it and check it out. So should we talk about that story? Right,
sure, if you want to. Yeah.
I think you're going to like this one.
Winning a game.
Oh, let's talk about that first. You're right. We should talk about that first. You had a great Saturday night, you and Ellis both. And like I said, Ellis wrote some tweet on Saturday night at going into the game, and I just sent a GIF of Adrian in the hospital bed saying "win," right? And so that's exactly what happened. You got, I told Ellis this because I called him and we were talking about the game, and I said, I was. At one point, I'm like, oh, let me check in on the game, because I was watching. We were watching other stuff with the kids, but I was checking in, and I'm like, oh, let me see how they're doing. Hopefully they're in range. And it was the third, and you beating the snot out of them by the third. And then I'm like, well, but I tell you this, I had a dream that you guys lost in sudden death, or overtime, whatever, sudden death. And then I woke up the next morning and saw that you won significantly. So you must have been on cloud.
Yeah, I mean, because nobody expected us to win. I mean, almost all the prognosticators were like, no, the Lions are going to get this thing. The dream is fine. The rookie quarterback getting him this far is amazing, and that's enough. But man, we played lights out football, no turnovers, only one punt the whole game, and we were able to stay on the field for long drives and really weaken that defense, which of course was missing a lot of their starters through injuries over the year. So, credit to the Lions for fighting, but I mean, I can't believe the ride we're on. And now we go into Philadelphia, and that's going to be a very, very, very tough game because that's a strong team. It's going to snow.
Sure.
It's old school East Coast, knockdown, drag out fight.
Is it going to snow next week?
Yeah, they're saying it's a chance of snow.
That's tough. That's tough.
Oh, yeah.
But
East Coast team.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The Commanders have a better chance than the Rams. The Rams are too busy sunbathing.
Yeah, they struggled yesterday for sure. But
great, the Lions,
a lot of fun, man.
The Lions were a shoe, and you even said, "Nah, no way, no way."
Yeah, no,
everybody,
everybody expectation. Yeah.
Nobody. So there's a good shot. This is one that I'm definitely rooting for you guys. I've been rooting. I'm saying because it's really because you and Ellis that I was like, I want to in the same way that Ellis was when they were playing the Patriots and the Giants, when the Giants were playing the Patriots and the Giants, Ellis was on my side, kind of pushing because you guys were so out of it at that point. It's like I don't hate the Commanders, I hate the Cowboys, I hate the Eagles. So get them a win.
Yeah,
one for the little guy.
Come on, I cheered for you guys against the Patriots as well. The 18-1 season, I was absolutely in an Eli Manning camp that whole season. So yeah, for sure. We'll see what happens.
Well, congratulations. That's a big win. Huge win.
It is.
And then you weren't affected by the TikTok thing at all, right?
Oh my God. What a dumb sham. What a stunt. What an incredible stunt. It was like, it's down. It's back up a few hours later.
Well, they knew they were bringing it up. They knew they were going to do that. But
so ridiculous.
Yeah. But either way, it's back for now. My daughter, it's so funny. My daughter, she doesn't have social media accounts. However, she uses CapCut because CapCut, as many people do for shorts and stuff too. But she uses it for she has this stuff that she's into, these comic books and other things that she likes, and she makes these little fan edits of them, and she uses CapCut. So she was not happy when CapCut went down. She was, and so was Luke. Luke was also bummed about CapCut going down. But it looks like that's coming back up. It's on if you have a laptop, or if you had it on your laptop or something on the phone, it's not back yet, but I think it will be. So
yeah.
Either way, all right, John. Let's get into this story, man, because this is what I was hearing. We know that Lucasfilm is making some moves and trying to do get some fans happy. Yeah. Right. And there's always mention of who's coming back, who can come back, which characters could come back, and that and more. So I got word that Filoni's really trying hard to get this one character back, and it looks like it's close. Anything obviously can happen. It's so funny because Attack Peter and I were just joking about this. Like, anything can happen, but I don't think it's a signed deal yet, but it's close, and it looks like in Ahsoka, returning could be one Natalie Portman.
Whoa!
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. They're saying that it'd probably be a world between worlds type thing, which, if you think about it, makes sense. Right. With the Ewan McGregor of it all and the young Ahsoka, they probably do a world between worlds thing, and it makes sense that he would want her. And from what I'm hearing, open to it. I don't know if it's a signed deal yet, but I think that it's pretty close. But it's Natalie Portman. She could say, "Well, I'm shooting something with Julianne Moore next week. I can't do it." I feel like she always does movies with Julianne Moore.
Yeah. Well,
But either way, because I remember her being on Josh Harwood's show, and she said that she'd be open for it.
There's enough time has passed where the bad feelings have moved on, and she's able to look at it differently now, and she's older, and she was a young actress back then, and so all of that. But I think the other side of this thing that I think is really interesting is it ties into what we saw. Was it Tales of the Jedi? Remember when Ahsoka is at her funeral, and they kind of made that canon that she was at her funeral, although no one saw her because she was sneaking around, but she was clearly devastated by Padme's death. And I think her and Bale meet up secretly around the funeral, if I remember that little short correctly. So the fact that they're making that canon, I think, is an interesting place to start. And then how is that going to work there when they see each other in the world within worlds? You know,
yeah, I think that's
fascinating.
but I think that she'll be. I think that if they do it, because there's been
Yeah.
those rumors, and this I don't know, but I'm just saying if this story broke somewhere else and I was speculating on it,
Mm.
I would say that it makes sense that because remember they're bringing Ariana Greenblatt back, they're
Mhm.
bringing back Ewan and
Yeah.
Hayden. That's probably, if I'm gonna guess, that's probably how this worked
Oh, three
because.
of them. Oh,
Well,
wow.
that I mean, yeah, because remember that was the one that we
Nice.
had heard beforehand too, and then Hayden and Natalie. I know I mean, I think they dated at one point, but I think that they have a good relationship now.
Oh.
And having her, maybe he made the call. I don't know, but either way, you see, I think that that's where all that would set up, and like another, because that's the episode for me. I didn't necessarily love Ahsoka season 1, but that episode, like seeing
Oh,
the Ahsoka in the Clone Wars that we knew, the
yeah.
younger version of her just kicking ass, and then the relationship between the two of them, and seeing, we never really saw that the version of Anakin that we saw in that episode was like that's what we wanted to see Hayden play. So we never got to see that version interact with Padme without like the kind of whining thing, and maybe that's kind of the redo that they'll try to do, but
Yeah.
she's got to sign on for it, and I think, like I said, I think they're close.
Yeah, it would be nice closure, right? Because
Yeah.
of where we left them on Mustafar and him choking her out and stuff. Like, okay, where are we going to go? How are we going to have a little bit of closure? Maybe you bring them back, kind of like what happened with Andrew Garfield's character in what's it, No Way Home, the last Spider-Man movie, where he saves MJ to kind of make up for not being able to save Gwen. Like, there's a way where you can bring them both back, and then maybe some closure about that relationship and about what happened there with all three of them, with Ewan and Natalie and Hayden. I think that'd be so much fun to see if they make it work organically and if it makes sense, right? Because what was great about the Hayden stuff was that it made sense and it worked. And yeah, I agree with you. That's my favorite episode of the season was that episode there with them, because you're getting closure, and not everyone gets closure. And it's nice to see it that you can have fantasy closure in these type of movies or series. So I'm down, man. I love this idea.
And it's also the question of how they're going to use the world between worlds, because you know, it's weird because they'll explain it a little bit more, because at the end of Ahsoka season 1, you see Hayden there, so clearly the stuff that she went through on that planet was real, and it turned out to bring him back in the Force Ghost way, and how it played into Rebels, I thought was interesting. It was like the first kind of time travel that we really got. People, it's not time travel. It's clearly time travel. She's in. People are like, that's not time travel. If you listen to Filoni, I was like, I don't care what Filoni says. That's time travel. She's sitting there in one aspect in time. She gets reached through through a portal through time. Yeah. It's time travel. So either way, I wonder how they're going to use that, and how they're going if they do it at all, or it's just more like those kind of visions thing. But I don't think it's a massive thing. I think it's just going to be like, oh, that's cool that they were able to get her back for one, even if it's like a 5-second scene. I don't know. Maybe it could be way longer than that. It could be a 10-minute scene. It could be a full episode. I don't know. But I just know that from what I know is that rightfully so, he's very interested in bringing her back, and and as you say, I think it brings closure to the whole thing. And I think people would be pumped to see her back. But the question again is that, you know, they were playing at the time, they were like, what, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, they were young.
And I think that they de-aged, they didn't de-age. They de-aged Hayden for Ahsoka, and it looked really good.
Yes.
They did not age him for Obi-Wan, and it did not look, I mean, not that it did not look good, but you just could tell that he's, you know, he looks good, but he's 40-something years old.
He's kept himself in good place.
Yeah. And Natalie Portman is stunning, no matter what. But you know, it's still, you can still tell it's been 20 some odd years. So I wonder if they're going to do that, or they're just going to go, you don't care, we don't care. It was just so fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I'm more worried. I want to ask you, do you think that this is in danger of abusing the world within worlds? Because remember when it was first introduced, a lot of people, Star Wars fans loved it, but then right after there was this thing of like, oh no, are they going to use this as a way of fixing certain issues with Star Wars? Are they going to use this?
But they didn't. They didn't abuse it.
They haven't so far. You're right.
No, and I thought they used it, like you said, that was your favorite episode. It was my favorite episode, because you got to see Hayden as Anakin in the version you always kind of hoped that he would. And I think that they're going to do that again. And there was also, and I wonder if he's going to test the waters even more so with this kind of, because there's been rumors about the live action Clone Wars thing, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what the whole episode should be, is a full Clone Wars episode. The show's called Ahsoka. So show me young Ahsoka, show me Ariana Greenblatt as Ahsoka during that time, in a full episode with Hayden and Ewan, and then they run into Padme.
Right.
That'll be such a water cooler episode, and everyone will be discussing it. It'll be a major episode, even if she's in it for 3 seconds. It's like, oh, we got to stop by the Coruscant for a second, checking in, and she's in, Ariana Greenblatt's in the background, and Anakin and Padme are having a conversation. It's something along those lines. I don't know. Again, that's all made up. That's just me saying what we could see. But I love the idea that he's going this route, that he's trying to get her to do it. And like I said, it's not one of the. From what I heard, it's not out of the question. It seems like it's very possible. I don't think it's a signed deal yet.
Yeah. Well, in Ariana's 17, going on 18, she looks different already than how she looked in the show previously. So you can bring her back as the young Ahsoka, and mirror what she looked like at the beginning of Clone Wars.
Definitely.
The snips and all of that. Like, that would be awesome to see and make that work. So, yeah, I love this idea all around.
Me too. So I'm curious to how they're going to play it, how I hope it happens. I really do hope it happens. I applaud Filoni for making this potential move, and if that'll be the episode that I'm looking forward to the most, because I think I think that it needs a bit of a redo.
Oh, totally.
It needs, in the whole entire series, it just needs to be, characters need to be written a little thicker. There is this, who said it? I don't know if it might have been you. I can't remember. It might have been Mike. I can't remember, but it's like this idea that it just has to be for kids, Star Wars, because that's what Lucas made it for originally. It's like, but remember though, that generation has grown up with it. And so you got to make it for both. That's why I think Andor has resonated. That's why Empire Strikes Back is looked at by a lot of people as the best one, and not by everybody. But if you took a majority of a poll, it would be ranked up there pretty high. And if not, Revenge of the Sith is up there, and that's a darker movie. So it seems like there are, and I think that they should just change their strategy a little bit more and see. And I do think it's an error for him to be writing the episodes all by himself.
Filoni?
I think it's an error. I think he needs to bring in some. He's like very similar to Lucas, right? Like he's good with the story and putting it together, but he needs a deeper. I think he needs like some real writers around him.
Yeah, it's shocking to see that the more he's stuck around this franchise and the more power he's acquired within the franchise, the more cracks have appeared in his overall, shall we say, brand, right? When you say Dave Filoni 2 years ago, you're like, oh yeah, give him everything. It's Dave Filoni. He's tapped into Lucas, but he knows what current Star Wars fans want to see. He's great. So they give him more, but as they've given him more, people have noticed patterns. People have noticed issues. We hear about the notes, the young adult skew, and he's not fully nailing it, especially after that season 1 of Ahsoka. So you go, well, why aren't you bringing in more people to be in a writer's room with you and to have conversations and to go back and forth and whatever? It doesn't mean you have to let them write any of the scripts. Just means like you got to have people in the room with you talking about all this stuff.
And I bet she does. I bet she's got people. I bet she's got people around him. I just think that, because from what he said is that he's writing all these episodes himself, and it's like, I don't think you need to do that. I think you need to take a pass of it and then get the writers in there that write TV and movies like that. That's what they do, right? And let them punch up the dialogue. Let's say, hey, listen, something like, I always bring up this moment that in Ahsoka season 1 that I didn't love the idea that Sabine had the Force. I thought she was so much more of a character when she was just a Mandalorian. She's a badass, and then she's got the. It's like everybody gets the Force, but like I'm like, okay, fine, just accept it. She's getting the Force, right? And the little moments that the whole show, and I've said this beforehand, but just to reiterate to people that maybe are watching the show for the first time or whatever, there's just little things that you could have stayed within the same through line that just would have more of an impact. So that show was all about trust, right? And it was like the idea of whether Sabine could be trusted by Ahsoka, and if Ahsoka could trust Sabine, and then if all this different of trust. So here's the scene where Sabine finally uses the Force, which I thought was done well with the stormtrooper, but she's scared when she's using it. She doesn't know what she's doing. She uses it, and then she's like, "Oh my God, I just used the Force. Holy shit!" Right? Not 5 minutes later, her and Ezra are on this bridge, and they need to jump and do this thing, and she goes, "I'm going to throw you," and he rightfully so is like, "Fuck no," right? Because she just learned how to use it. It would have been so much more of an impact if he knew what she had just done, and he goes, "Throw me," and she's like, and she goes, "No, I just learned how to do this." He's like, "Throw me," and whether he uses it, helps her, does it, they work together on it. He shows it. It's like that little thing. It's just like, I don't know, there's just little moments sometimes where I'm just like, oh, you had these moments there, and that I just feel like sometimes I don't know what he's doing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look at Skeleton Crew this past season. Two of the best written episodes were not Christopher Ford and John Watts. It was Myung Jo Wesner.
Yeah, don't tell me anything about it. I've only seen.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, that person did a great job writing those 2 episodes, and they were so essential to what the impact of the overall season. So it's good to have other people in the room to write these episodes with you and be a sounding board. So I hear you. Yeah, little tweaks like that can come about because you're so deep in it, you don't see it, and someone can come in with a little.
And you don't want anybody to touch it because it's your baby. You're like, no, I know this. I know Ahsoka. I know. I remember when I interviewed him, and I was like, he created Ahsoka, and Lucas gave him the okay on it, and he does not let anybody do anything with Ahsoka without his permission, right? And I understand that. I totally get it, but it's like but I think that you got to be a little bit like, okay, what do you got there? Show me what you think she should do, he should do that, and okay, that's the dialogue. I get it. All right, let's fly with that. But I think he's a little too protective. I don't know. All this this Natalie Portman stuff and Ewan McGregor. You and I have talked about this. It just makes me want an anthology Star Wars show so badly. Oh, wow. Like it just says like the show is called Star Wars. You just call the show Star Wars, and it's like a 3-episode arc. Let's say it's a 3-episode arc of the Clone Wars, and it takes place during that time period. You get the actors on for that 3 episodes, and then that's it. And then the next 2 episodes after that are 2 episodes about Cad Bane, right? And then 2 more episodes after that are about a brand new character that take place 20 years after Rey. It's like you can do an anthology Star Wars series, and then if those characters, let's say that people hate those 2 episodes about that character that takes place 20 years, you never bring them back ever again. Right. Flip side, they love it. You do 5 more episodes in season 2. Right. It's like you can do an Old Republic arc for 2 or 3 episodes, Knights of the Republic for 2 or 3 episodes. You have to do so much and calling it Star Wars. Yeah. I don't know why they haven't picked up on an anthology series. It's like it would be so much fun to play, and they could spin off shows from that thing and everything too. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good idea, man. Anyway, all right. What do you guys think about all of this? Do you think that Natalie Portman's going to come back? Do you think that she's going to decide that she wants to do it, or do you think it's just an idea that they want to float out there, that they're hoping to make it happen, and if not, you and Ariana and Hayden will suffice? What say you? Put your thoughts out there. Anything else you want to talk about in regards to that, please let me know. And as I mentioned earlier, right now, I know it's early, so we stand at 5 questions. We're going to try to get to. It's early. It's early. So you caught a bit of a shake here today.
Come on,
because it's early. So we're going to try to get to John to at least 50 today. We'll see. Anyway, so we got more stories though, man. We got more stories. There's quite a few today, and I wanted to discuss this one because this was the one that potentially was going to bring up also, and that's the thing about Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman may play Wolverine for 10 plus years. Yeah, this is what it says. You know this story too?
No, they said it all through Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
Yes,
Till you're 90. So.
Yeah. Deadpool and Wolverine joked that Hugh Jackman would play Wolverine until he was 90. It turns out that might not be as much of a joke. This weekend's comic book movie rumor du jour is that Hugh Jackman plans to continue as Wolverine well into the MCU mutant saga. Scooper My Time with S.H.I.E.L.D. claims that Jackman is not even close to being done with the role. The actor reportedly intends to play Wolverine for at least another 10 years. If the report is true, Jackman is 56, so technically he'll play the part until he's nearly 70. The Scooper adds that Marvel Studios also wants a Deadpool and Wolverine trilogy, which is less of a surprise considering the R-rated first film grossed $1.3 billion. Marvel's currently busy wrapping up its multiverse saga with Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, expected to reset the board for the mutant saga with X-Men characters coming into play in the MCU sandbox. Filming on Avengers Doomsday kicks off in March in the UK. All right, so I don't really know what to make of this because part of me says, well, yeah, if you're Disney and you're Marvel and you just had a movie that made $1.3 billion with people that with somebody who they love in Wolverine, and you can get them for the Avengers movies, which is going to go for the next 2 or 3 years, right? I think the first one is 2026 Avengers, right? And the next one's 2027. Is that right?
That's what they're looking at right now.
Okay, so if those two, and so you got them for at least those 2 movies, you'd assume. And then if you're gonna do Deadpool and Wolverine 2. That movie would probably come out in another 2 or 3 years from now. So you're looking at 2028. And then if you're going to do another one, you're looking at 2030, 2031, which is crazy to even say. So, you have, and that's pretty much, you keep doing it whenever you can. The question is, and that makes sense. That makes sense where if you're Disney and you're Marvel, you're like, okay, part of it makes sense because it's like, all right, that is why you have a successful movie and you can get your stars on board, you do it. The part that doesn't make sense and that they've put themselves in this position is because they have a continued universe. They have a television show, essentially. So it's like, is it just kind of like what DC is doing? Is it more like Elseworld stuff at this point? Because the whole point of Avengers is that they're going to end the multiverse stuff.
Right.
Which is what I'm looking forward to. And I think a lot of people are. Deadpool even joked about it, the multiverse stuff. Let's end it. Right at this point. How do they make this work, John?
I don't really know, right? Because I mean, they already have the film doesn't end with them going into the main universe, right? So he's still in his universe. Now Wolverine is in his universe with X-23, by the way. Let's not forget her.
Right.
So they're a part of the Deadpool universe. So are they going to cross over? I got to be honest with you, man. My initial reaction is I love Hugh as Wolverine. I don't think there's few actors that are just so connected to the superhero character they play, kind of like Christopher Reeve and Superman. Like, it's incredible what he's done with that character. And I, as a Logan fan, I didn't mind Deadpool and Wolverine. I thought it was great. If he wants to come back and play Wolverine for a trilogy, fine, that's great. But I do think there's a danger in him just being Wolverine now going into the MCU because this still starts to feel like, okay, we're just going to do the desperate big stuff. We're going to bring Downey Jr. back. We're going to bring Evans back. We're going to bring Haley Atwell back. We're going to do all these kinds of things that are we're going to bring the Russos back. It was all reminiscent of the glory years. And now we're going to bring in Hugh Jackman, who is probably the best part of the Fox X-Men universe. And we're going to move him in here along with Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. I know a lot of people love them. So, and put him in. So to me, it kind of stops a young actor coming in to play Wolverine. So that frustrates me because what are you going to do? You're going to have the X-Men at multiple different ages? Are you going to have Wolverine like at 80?
Well, isn't that the question we're having about Batman?
Everyone's at 20. Like, it's weird.
But isn't it the same question we're having about Batman?
In which way?
In which way? It's like, okay, so you're going to have, at one point, you're going to have a 60 or 70-year-old Batman. I mean, sorry, 60, 70-year-old.
Brave and the Bold, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Or 50-year-old Batman. And at the same time, you have Robert Pattinson's Batman running around the joint, right? So that's the people are like, oh, it wouldn't be confusing. It could be in the same way. It's like, okay, here's Hugh Jackman, who is known as Wolverine, who was not known until he played Wolverine.
Right, he wasn't.
He's played him for the last 25 years. He's been playing him. And and then you're asking another person to come in and be the Wolverine of the MCU. Mm-hmm. While Hugh Jackman is still, it's
two
one
Wolverine, two Batman type.
Yes, and it's one thing to go, okay, look, it's going to be, no matter who takes the role or picks up the claws, if you will, they are going to be in the shadow of Hugh Jackman until they're not, right?
Right.
It's one thing to do it in general. It's another thing entirely to do it while the guy is still doing it.
Yeah. But can't you just finish out the trilogy then recast or for whatever reason and start over again. I don't know. I have a lot of questions, but like I just don't. I mean, Hugh ain't a young man. Hugh is not a young man. To ask him to stay on this physical regimen is a lot to ask of an actor as he gets older, and he's got to stay. It's not like Liam Neeson who can hide behind suits and jackets or whatever. Like he's got to look like incredible in that suit as he gets older. And I'm hoping we're moving to Old Man Logan.
That's probably what's going to happen. That's probably what's going to happen. But didn't he kind of do that with Logan though?
Yes, that was essentially Old Man Logan to a degree. Yes.
So that's the other. It's like, so he's doing it again.
Yeah, and there are elements of it in the Deadpool and Wolverine story as well about things that he might have done while he was tricked or whatever. And so there's elements of that they borrowed for that as well. The guilt he carries. So there's a lot here that they've already explored. That's my concern, man. I don't think he should play it for the next 10 years. I really don't. I'd love to see him in a couple of things, but there is so much to explore with a young Wolverine. And if you don't do that, then you're essentially killing so many stories you can tell with a young Wolverine, with a young actor.
But I think they're going to do both. That's the problem, though. I think they're going to do both, which is, I think, I mean, it's like if Sony would have been smart. Yeah. I know that's asking a lot, but if Sony would be smart and done the, the Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield movies like right after No Way Home, not as confusing because it was part of the story itself, right? So the story itself could essentially because look, I think we're going to see Deadpool in the Avengers movies because I think we're going to see that scene with Thor and all that stuff, so I think you can make it work within your story.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of how you're going to do it, and you've got to make sure that whoever they get for that Wolverine, that people love him.
Yes, right.
Whoever it is, you got to love him.
That's the danger you run into, or you're going to cast it correctly.
Yes.
You don't want to see that. That's a fair point. But I think the difference in the Batman is they're trying to say that Gotham is in the same universe. They're not bringing in from a multiverse Batman into the main universe of Superman. I think that's the difference there. They've said Elseworld shit, right? But they can always just amend that and be like, well, we started out that way, but actually Gotham is very much in the same universe as our Superman. Whereas the Wolverine Deadpool stuff, that is legitimately another universe. And they are trying to bring that over here. Right. And I think those are two different things. Plus, you've only seen Pattinson as Batman for one movie, right? And this, we've got so many years of Hugh as Wolverine. So, but I hear your point though about the danger. Will fans get confused? Will they be okay with it? So it is a tightrope you have to walk if you're going to go that route.
I don't know, man. I'm curious how it's going to play, but I've got to ask the audience, what do you guys think? Do you think that it doesn't matter? It's Hugh Jackman. Let him do his thing. And then whoever the new person is, they'll do it and we'll be fine with it. I'm so curious to what you guys think and whether or not you also think that it's like, all right, well, wait, here's the other idea. Let's just put this to bed. Let's just let the new Wolverine be the new Wolverine. And that's it. So put your thoughts in there, please, and let me know. All right. Before we move on, I got to tell you guys about our sponsors. And I'm going to tell you today, this episode is brought to you by our friends over at BetterHelp. I've talked to you guys many times about BetterHelp. I've talked to you about Roxy and BetterHelp and how that's helped her tremendously in her life. And I know that it's benefited her. And this is January, man. And it brings you over 365 blank pages waiting to be filled. In 2025, maybe you're ready for a plot twist, or maybe there's a part of your story you've been wanting to revise. And life's not about resolutions that fade in February. It's about picking up the pen and becoming the author of your own life. I think of it more or less as therapy is kind of like an editorial partner. It helps you write new chapters, and it creates the meaningful story that you deserve to live. And I think that works out for everybody. As I mentioned with Roxy, it helped. It has helped people in my family. It has helped. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable, convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a device network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. You can switch therapists anytime, no extra cost. Write your story with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/bigthing today. You get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/bigthing. I have also told you guys, I've told you, and I told you last week, I'm going to tell you again about Prolon. Man, this was cool so far. Even my wife and I were discussing it the other day. Because I was like, look, I'm trying this challenge thing. I need to do it. You want to get that that post-holiday reset. And it's pretty amazing. So you guys don't know, the new year again, it's here, and I started a reset already after the holidays because of the indulgences, and I wanted to jumpstart my health in 2025. So I started with Prolon. It's that 5-day program. It's fasting, but it's with food. What? Yeah. I can nourish my body while experiencing benefits like fat loss and enhanced skin appearance and improved energy. And so with January fasting challenges, I have expert support, I have guidance, and a community to keep me on track. So basically what you do if you're craving a post-holiday reset, this is the best. So I'm starting it. It is a 5-day program, and it really is a game changer. Right? You nourish your body while you let the experience the benefits of fasting, like fat loss, better skin, improved energy. The meals that they come with, it's prepackaged, zero guesswork, which is exactly what I needed after the holiday. I can tell you that. So it's a structured way to rejuvenate and start the year feeling lighter, more energized, and ready to tackle anything. So ready to make 2025 your healthiest year? If you are, you got to order the Prolon 5-day kit. You go to prolonlife.com/bigthing, and you join in on their fasting challenge today. New groups start every Sunday in January. And Prolon is offering the listeners of this show 15% off their 5-day nutrition program for your post-holiday glow up when you go to prolonlife.com/bigthing. One more time, prolonlife.com/bigthing. All right, thank you to our friends over at both BetterHelp and Prolon. So, John, did you pay attention to anything over at the box office this weekend?
No, actually,
Really.
I didn't see anything come through. So enlighten me, my friend.
I will tell you what's going on the enlightenment. So, right now, this is from, I always tell you guys about Box Office Mojo. That's where I usually go. The Mojo. Yeah. Here's our numbers. We got One of Them Days. That's the Keke Palmer one, right?
Yeah, I think they did well, like 11 million.
Points. Yeah, man. I mean, look, you make movies for lower budgets, and then you make 11.6, and it's a win. Mufasa again, John, 11.5. Wolfman with 10.6, but Wolfman cost $33, I think, to make. So I think that already that probably made it. Sonic with another 8, and Den of Thieves. So let's I want to look at Mufasa.
Okay.
Almost 600 million worldwide. So Luke is very lucky he didn't bet a steak dinner with me on that one. Because Sonic currently is at 422. Not even close.
Yeah, a lot of people said this when the predictions were coming out, that Sonic is not as big as video game playing nerds think it is. It is not as big as Disney's Mufasa or the Lion King thing. People have a decades-long relationship with that story. And I know Sonic's been around for decades as well, but it's different, right? Because that's a video game. This was a Disney project. This is a massive thing that's being passed on from generation to generation to people watching these Lion King movies and whatever. And then the last one made 1.6 billion. So like Sonic has done great, but the idea that Sonic was going to somehow overcome Mufasa, I think was a little bit of fool's gold, to be honest with you. And no offense to Sonic.
It's a far superior movie. Sonic 3 is a far superior movie. Than
Clearly.
Far superior. It is a much better movie. It is way better. But it just does not have the same IP power that that movie has. And
there's nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't.
No, it's true. The other Wolfman made worldwide so far 16 million. So that movie, I think it cost like $7 million to make. So
it was 25. It was 20.
Was it 25?
Yeah, 25.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Someone told me 7. Okay, so all right, so 25.
Who's that? I want to know that person's name. Yeah, 25 million.
Okay, so it cost 25 to me.
Yes.
Okay, so they still, I mean, they can still make a profit on it.
It's not getting. I thought it was good, but certainly it's not. I know we and you differ on that.
Yeah,
Jeff is in your camp as well. But I think I don't know if it'll creep closer to that, because I think if more people like the movie, it would have blown up a little bit bigger than the 16.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. With the stuff that it's a January release.
Yeah.
Plus the weather right now brutal.
On the East Coast, yeah.
Yeah, other things that take into factor, other things that are coming up, whether it's Super Bowl, whether it's the playoffs. What would you rather do? Go see Wolfman or watch this stuff?
Right.
And then there's other movies coming out. So I think it can break even maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
But it just, that's right. I saw you're out of the theater. Yeah, we're on this totally different page. Lee Whannell to me is just a really good director. I like him a lot, and I really loved what he did with Invisible Man. It was clever.
Yes,
it was like it was a spin on the. It wasn't just a horror movie. It was creepy. Right. It was like it was really smart. This was just
commentary on domestic violence as well.
100%. And this was just a horror movie, which is fine for people, but like it was just chase, decent, creepy, weird looking wolf gore. I don't even know if it really was wolf. I don't know what it was, and I was just like,
Yeah.
And I didn't love Christopher Abbott. I thought he was. I like him as an actor. I just didn't. Right. And Julia Garner, who I love, completely wasted in that movie.
Wow,
wasted. Did you watch Ozark?
No, I've never seen Ozark.
Well, that's why.
But
I've seen Ozark, dude. Wasted.
Yeah, well, fair. But Jeff said she didn't do a good job in the movie, and I can't agree with that. I thought she was good in the movie.
She had nothing to do.
But I might agree with you that she was a bit wasted. And I agree. That's the issues I had with the film. Two of them were, the one main one was that we needed more time with this family so we could really understand the dynamics.
Yeah.
We were presented surface dynamics and then asked actors to do all the extra work of levels of what's going on between them.
To me, that's the most important.
I think that was a bit of a drawback for the film. And also I felt he didn't want to they cut it. I think there's 30 minutes missing of that movie because he was clearly going to make a commentary about these people who live out in the woods and cut themselves off from society and how they can be just as horror can be a symbol of horror as much as any Wolfman. So I think there was something that could have been explored there, and the stuff, and I think they were maybe afraid to make a political stand or whatever, and so they cut it. So
what was the budget on One of Them Days?
Oh, that was probably like 9. I don't know. Let me take a look.
That movie will make a profit because that movie.
No one expected that one to do well, but it got a lot of great.
14 million. 14
million was the budget.
A budget of what?
14 million is the box office. So there you go.
Oh, the budget of 14.
Yep.
So with marketing, they'll probably break even next weekend.
Yeah, word of mouth is going to spread.
Yeah, and they'll start to pull a profit. That movie will be a success. So that's great. So with best friends and roommates, Drew and Alyssa discover Alyssa's boyfriend has blown their rent money. The duo finds themselves going to extreme in a race against the clock to avoid eviction and keep their friendship intact. So it sounds like a fun comedy. So we need more of those in the movie theater, man.
A lot of people are saying that it's kind of like a throwback to 90s comedies, kind of like what Martin Lawrence used to star in, those old school 90s comedies. So I want to see it. I've heard a lot of positive. I skipped the screening actually thinking it wasn't going to be that good of a movie, but now all these reactions make me want to go see this thing. So maybe I'll pop on over to Regal and watch it because I love Kiki. I think Kiki's great.
One of Them Days is the name of the film for people asking in the chat. All right, I think what we're going to do here, John, is we're going to read a couple more stories, and then right now, 8 questions.
I knew going early was going to affect us.
I know it was a little tougher today, but
enjoy your victory coin, Winston, you bastards.
So, well, Mike's going to be on with Winston on Friday, so we'll see if it makes a difference. We'll see if it makes a difference. I'm trying to see if there's any other stories worth talking about before we just get into these questions. Maybe I'll let you go back to sleep. So are there any big ones that are coming out here to? Oh, Ke Kwan wants to play a villain. Did you see that story?
No, what's going on?
There are 2 more stories I want to talk about. We'll talk about this one for sure. I don't want to see him play a villain.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think he can do it. I think he would crush it. I just like him too much. I don't know if I could. It's like if a wrestler goes heel, you're like, I'm not booing that person.
Yeah.
The comeback story of Oscar winner Ke Kwan continues. The former The Goonies and Indiana Jones star, building on his Oscar-winning Everything Ever All at Once role success into several other notable gigs. He's had several recent gigs from supporting roles in the 2nd season of Loki and the Disney Plus series American Born Chinese to voice roles in Kung Fu Panda 4 and the upcoming Zootopia 2. This year, Kwan will appear in Joe and Anthony Russo's The Electric State and is the lead in the action film Love Hurts, which opens on February 7th. Out promoting his first go as an action hero in the latter film. He's going to be amazing in that, by the way. He is an underrated action guy. I mean, look what he did in Everything Ever All at Once. He tells Empire what he really wants to do next is play a villain. I'd love to play a bad guy, like a Bond villain. Oh, man. All right, maybe you're selling me already. or the kind of thing that Hugh Grant does in Heretic. I want to go out of my comfort zone and just play this diabolical, really bad guy. That would be a lot of fun. The actor also has a history of work choreographing stunts and fights, but despite his new film, he adds that he doesn't want to be only seen as an action star. I don't want to be perceived as an action star. I hope I'm perceived as an actor who does action well. I think he did. I think that's exactly right. So I'm going to take it one step at a time. The best part about being an actor is you get to play a variety of different characters. I love Urbos because he is so different than Waymond, and Waymond is so different than Marvin Gable. He was also recently cast in the upcoming Lionsgate action thriller Fairy Tale in New York. In it, he plays a cab driver who pursues a gang of criminals to retrieve his children's stolen Christmas presents.
That's awesome.
I love that too. Yeah, it's weird. It depends on the villain, right? I mean, no matter what it is, I'm gonna be like, all right, he's so good, I'm gonna watch it too. I just don't want to root against him, but he makes a point. He's an actor. You know, it's like, okay, you know, he's gonna do it well. The Bond villain thing, I kind of love, like something like that.
Depends on the kind of Bond you're going to tell. Like he'd be great. He'd be a great Roger Moore Bond, and maybe even a Pierce Brosnan Bond villain. But who are you going to cast as Bond? So are you going to cast a more serious Bond like Daniel Craig? Then I don't know if it would 100% work. Or you're going to go back to the Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, smoother type of Bond, then I think that 100% works. And
but what if not? But what if not? If it's not actually Bond? What if it's a Bond-like villain in a different type of movie?
Oh,
you know, like
100%. Yeah. Let's see what you can do. Yeah, I like that idea.
All right, this is the one that I wanted to talk to you about because I want to see your thoughts on this one because this is a story that came out.
We're talking about Captain America.
Yeah, sure. Here, I'm looking at it right now. The Brutalist, the editor confirms AI use. Bradley Corbett's is it Corbett or Corbett?
It's Corbett.
Corbett, The Brutalist, is in many ways an old school film. Was shot in VistaVision. The film manages to craft an epic scale in terms of visuals, despite only a very limited budget to work with. To pull off such a feat, the filmmakers had to rely on whatever tools they could. One of them has turned out to be AI. The film's Hungarian editor, David Janskos, speaking with Red Shark News, has revealed that the award's favorite film used generative AI for two key elements, the dialogue and the designs. He says he fed his own voice into the AI software respeecher to clean up the actors' Hungarian accents. He says Hungarian is extremely unique and one of the most difficult languages to learn to pronounce. They coached the actors with a team were perfectionists and wanted to make it so good that not even locals will spot any difference. They initially tried ADR with the actors and brought in other actors, and in both cases it didn't work. That's where AI came in to help with certain letters and phrases, with Brody and Jones fully involved in the process. Most of their Hungarian dialogue has been part of me talking in there. We were very careful about keeping their performances. It's mainly just replacing letters here and there. You can do this in Pro Tools yourself, but we had so much dialogue in Hungarian that we really needed to speed up the process otherwise. That wasn't the only part. The film's epilogue at the Venice Biennale includes a series of architectural drawings and finished buildings in the style of Brody's character. Speaking about AI in general, he says it's controversial in the industry to talk about AI, but it shouldn't be. We should be having a very open discussion about what tools AI can provide us with. There's nothing in the film using AI that hasn't been done before. It just makes the process a lot faster. We use AI to create these little tiny details that we didn't have the money or time to shoot. The comments have immediately sparked speculation about how they might impact the film's Oscar chances, as the use of AI is a tricky subject. This is a bigger story than to be covered like fourth on our show. Or fifth. This is a massive story. Sure. This should hurt the chances. And it's not, I have been a little softer on the idea of like the images of the second part of that, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, they use the second to clean up or put some images out there in the beginning and things of that nature. And if cinematography was up for it and that there's certain things that were looked at, then maybe that's the discussion. But if it just, that's part of it, just a little cleanups to help coloring and other things.
Right.
Okay. Dialogue? Changing. I mean, where was that for Kevin Costner and Robin Hood?
Yeah, I'm sure they would have used it if they could have.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, and would that have helped the chances of that movie winning an Oscar because it was legit? Like, so that's not really the actors. Was it? A lot of them, the actors are, but yeah, but how much now? How much of those accents are real? How much would it have hurt your? Would it taken you out of the movie? Or some of the stuff? Probably
Maybe.
not. Probably not. But now you don't know. I'll tell you, I'm normally not the person on this side.
Yeah.
I don't think it should win the Oscar.
Wow. Well, we are on opposite sides.
Yeah.
I find myself on opposite. I think this whole controversy is a bunch of hullabaloo over nothing. I really do. I think it's all AI is here to stay. Grow the F up. It is not going anywhere. And I don't mean you, of course, personally. I mean overall, some of the comments.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and so people gotta understand this. They didn't do the whole movie AI. Okay, they used it through they used Pro Tools, whatever. You know, sometimes I've used certain things to clean up my voice when I do podcasts because like there's an issue with the mic or the audio, so it levels out. That's all. And so the fact that they're adjusting the accents through AI to make it more believable, more authentic, that's honoring the accent. That's honoring the region. And the actors didn't maybe get there 100%. They probably had someone come in who listened, who's from that region and was like, you're not quite 100% nailing it. So they want the authenticity. They're not going to go back and reshoot the scenes with the actors. So they come back in and they put it through.
Okay, but what about the movies what about the movies that didn't use it that could have improved the movies that
what do you want me to say? Those are the old days and it wasn't around.
No. So I'm talking about now. I'm talking about the movies that are against it. Maybe there's maybe the Substance could have used AI to help even more things inside it, but didn't use it. And maybe that would improve the movie. Now you're not wrong in this. Look, this
special
is
effects.
This
for
is
her face.
I don't know, or the dialogue, or maybe I don't know. But the point. I'm just using that movie as an example of any of the movies that are up for it. But it's almost like the argument I can use against myself there is, it's like the age old question. The Yankees are like, well, the Yankees spend more money than everybody else, but they're doing it legally. They're doing it legally. They're following the rules, the salary cap and everything else. Like it's not illegal to use it.
Yeah, it's not illegal to
use. It's like, okay, yeah, performance enhancing for movies now is AI, and it's not illegal. You can use performance enhancing drugs, and they used it. So it's like, well, hey, everybody else could have used the performance enhancing drugs, but they didn't. But so but it is, isn't it? Isn't it essentially performance enhancing?
Because I don't think because like Barry Bonds is hitting home runs because of the performance enhancing drugs, and he's able to recover quickly. This is more just adding a little authenticity. This is like making.
But that's what they say. Like that's the problem. I think that's probably the truth. However, what if the accent was so bad that they said, wait, you know what? We can throw this tool in there and it'll sound like they're speaking perfect Hungarian. And right. But the problem is that it's like, but it's not
the actors. The actors are still getting paid. They're still getting their residual.
Paid. I know.
No actors getting screwed over here. In this
no. That's a separate conversation. It's just because that was all handled with the strike. I'm talking more so about you're sitting in the theater going, oh wow, that's a really good accent that he's doing. Is it? It's not. That's a performance enhancing drug.
Well, I would say you've got to extend that out because then so is using a dialect coach. So is listening to the tapes of other people who speak in that accent so you can adjust your voice to match that accent. That's a performance enhancing situation because you're not just being left to your own devices. You're using other things in order to achieve a performance. And the fact that a director can use this without eliminating the actor's performance or the actor's intentions, because that's the underlying foundation of the AI, I don't think it's a negative. I don't think it's a bad thing. And people just hear this term AI, and they lose their minds. And I'll tell you this, generations after us are going to be laughing at us having an issue with this right now.
That's usually my
when
stance.
Emilia Perez wins Best Picture, they're going to be laughing at us 20 years from now that we didn't make The Brutalist because of AI.
I'm usually on that side of things, right? Where like, look, because I was just having this conversation with my wife and
my wife.
She's just like you, like terrified of AI, right? But
sure.
But she also, when I was talking to her, I was like, yeah, but there are a lot of good things that can be done with AI.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that can be abused. And she's like, yeah, but humans usually abuse it. I go, you're not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong.
Right.
But
The
like,
tools always.
look, the stuff will be out there. It's going to be out there. They're already implementing, and most companies are implementing it. It is going that way. There's no doubt about it. But it's also, I don't know. It's level playing field for me, and it is. I mean, it's the same argument I just made against myself. It's like, okay, it's not illegal, and everybody else could have done it, but I think that everyone else either hasn't done it because they're worried about that type of thing. Like, oh my God, if we use AI to clean this up or do this, it's going to hurt our chances, or we're going to be put under the, they're going to get blasted, and so let's not do it. That's part one. Or they don't have an editor that told the truth.
Right, probably.
You know what I mean?
You're like, if you're the studio right now, you are going ape shit over this person saying this stuff.
Say this in April.
Yeah.
Say this in April.
After the film comes out, or after the Oscars or whatever. Why the hell are you saying anything now? And so, and if voters vote again, because I mean, look, de-aging is AI, for God's sakes. It's elements of AI to it. So there's so much where
some of it isn't. I mean, some of it.
Steve Spielberg's Jurassic Park. That's essentially, no one was crying for the practical effects people because they could do such great special effects. That's essentially AI's beginning. So, I mean, there's people are parsing out and splitting hairs and convenient offenses over here. And I just get really frustrated because they didn't make the whole movie AI, but people hear that term and lose their minds. And look, I understand with the strikes, with the fires, the consolidation since the strikes of the projects, there's a lot of anger out there and a lot of very legitimate concern and worry that the industry is falling apart. And I absolutely understand that. And AI just adds to that,
Right.
So it's a tough time right now for a lot of performers. So I hear that. But this kind of stuff isn't like what we should be dying on a hill on, for God's sake.
I'm so curious how this is going to, I'm so curious how, because if they win, I
hope they win, for God's sake.
But if they win, then that means like, okay, now there's been a precedent, right? So then it's like, okay, well then use it because Brutalist did and they won, so use it, do that, and then it'll start. It's the first person out the gate that benefits from it. More people will do it. If they are hurt by it, then it's going to be this more taboo thing where like don't say anything, just do it, say it on the side, just do it. But it's going to be more out in the front if they win. So it's a big story. It's a big story. Okay. So we're going to get to the questions here. And before we do, John, what's going on with your channel? What do you get going on this week?
Oh, please head on over to the Outlaw Nation, youtube.com/John Rocha Says. That's ROCHA for those who still spell it with a K. ROCHA, Rocha Says. Yeah, head on over there. We got a lot of stuff happening. We just dropped my reaction for the last episode of Skeleton Crew yesterday. We just had some really good episodes of the Geek Buddies and the Hot Mic here that dropped on Friday and Thursday that you guys could catch up on. But of course, we've got a whole week of stuff coming up here with Geek Buddies and the Hot Mic as well, with reactions, reviews, all kinds of stuff. And Winston and I are trying to lock down and spill the tequila this week. I think you know why. So we're going to be talking about a lot of the stuff that's happening in our world over the next few days there on that. So look for all that. Come hang out with us there. And of course, my other podcast is Cinephiles, and the Hot Mic and the Geek Buddies are all separate feeds. And Cinephiles, we just started doing Sideways, that great Paul Giamatti film. So you can come and listen to us do that. There you go. That's my life.
John, here we go. Going into the question section so far. Not too bad. 14. That's not bad. Sometimes going into 20, people win it.
We will see.
We'll see. So starting off with number 1, and we got Cade Herbert. Rocha, don't ever doubt JD5 again. Go Tigers.
Listen here, son. Nobody doubts Jaden. I didn't doubt Jaden Daniels. I doubted the team, and I can doubt the team because we were playing the number 1 seed in the NFC. So I didn't doubt in a way of like, no, there's no way they can do it. I was more in a place of like, wow, this.
You're trying to be a realist. You're trying to be a realist.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. Mirror Domains. Should the AI voice cost Adrian Brody a nomination for the Brutalist? This stinks to high heaven. John and I are on different sides on this one. He's on. He's both on the side of werewolves or whatever. What the hell was that thing called?
Wolfman.
That was a good movie, and I'm on the side that it wasn't. And he is on the side that Adrian Brody should not be affected. I am on the side that it should. So,
I just think it's stupid because. Okay, fair point. People have concerns about it, so I don't want to be disrespectful. I think it's a little trumped up because the foundational performance is there. Okay, it isn't like the AI affected his inflections and his emotion and the things he's going through. And are you an actor, Mayor Domains? Because I have a feeling you're not, and you don't understand that someone adjusting your voice is just adjusting your voice. It is not adjusting your performance. Your performance is still the foundational thing you're being nominated for. And I think that's still 100% what the
I think that's tricky, dude.
The nomination is for.
I think that's tricky. I think you can still have a good performance, like, and be locked in, but you can take people out of it if your accent doesn't sound like. Look at Napoleon. Look at Napoleon, right?
Oh God, that movie.
Right. His performance isn't bad at all.
No, I agree.
Is good.
Yeah,
but I couldn't take him as Napoleon when he sounds like he's from California.
Right.
I was like,
that's his decision not to do a French accent or not to do anything.
But maybe they would say, hey, Joaquin, listen, I know that you were struggling with that French accent. We're gonna have this tool where we AI your voice and it's your voice, but you're gonna have an AI accent.
Yeah. But
and then he wins the Oscar on
that's
a movie
the whole movie though, right? They said they tweaked. There's the difference there. Didn't
yes.
So certain moments where he didn't quite hit the accent, they wanted to make it smooth.
I think it's tricky, dude. I think it's tricky.
That's fair.
Dustin Mims. Daniel, I guess RPK, has said what you said before, that they're bringing Cal Kestis into live action. Curious, though, for what project? Maybe the movie or Ahsoka season 2. I haven't heard of which project. I had heard a long time ago, and I wonder, I don't know, Daniel, I don't know if he gives props to people or not. I didn't read his report, but I mean, I definitely reported on the Cal Kestis thing like a year ago.
Yeah.
And Cal Kestis originally was potentially a show, and then it was moved from them doing a show to have him appear in live action. So I think he will appear in live action at some point or another. I just don't know where. I don't think it'll be. I mean, I haven't heard of Ahsoka season 2. That's not to say it wouldn't be, but I don't know yet. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
On that, but there's still talk about bringing him in for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Alonso Hernandez. What's up, Alonso? Patiently waiting for the MCU, for more MCU reaction videos. Yeah, so Ant-Man comes out tomorrow. I'm glad, I had it done, and it's supposed to come out tomorrow regardless, but this morning I saw that there's a certain way you have to edit these things, and so the copyright wasn't right on it yet, so I have to go back to the editors first, get it back tomorrow, but it'll be up tomorrow, and then Civil War will be on Friday.
Nice.
So, yeah, I can't wait to see her reaction on Civil War, dude.
Right.
Have you watched any Sam stuff yet? You would love to. Puerto Rican firecracker.
I will take a look. I will absolutely take a look. Yeah.
She's the best. Carlton Rudder, London calling. What's up, London?
Hey.
I'm going to call him London from now on. When watching a movie at home by yourself, yeah, right. Do you watch it with headphones or open air? Headphones. I mean, no, open air. I go for headphones, my own cinema. I love that. But I haven't done that. I probably should do that. Just connected to my surround sound or whatever it is, or my TV, and do it. I haven't done that, but I probably should. The problem is that I can't, John, within 8 minutes in my house, someone's calling for me upstairs. I get my wife calling me. I get my kids calling me. It's like, even, and if the kids are sleeping, by the time they're both sleeping, it's like 10:30 at night. I get about an hour. But I have been watching The Agency, which I like a lot.
Oh yeah. Love it. Yeah. Very caught up on that.
Really good.
Yeah.
How many episodes? How many episodes are there?
10.
There are 10. There are 10 total, and they're all out.
No, 9. The 9 just dropped this past week.
9 just dropped. Okay.
Yeah. This week will be the finale.
Okay. Yeah. We just finished 2, but my wife likes it too. So that's one that we'll actually be watching. We still haven't finished. We still haven't finished Baby Girl. Does Baby Girl end really weird? I feel like it's going to.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because I said to my wife, I said, I feel like it's going in a really strange place. And she was like, "You think so?" And I was like, "Yeah." Because she hates that shit. So I'm like, that's why I haven't been rushing to go watch it.
I like to watch open air if the Lady Outlaw is not working. But when she is, I usually wear my Bose headphones to watch it. So yeah.
Alexander Wilson. Filoni, all he does is Clone War and Rebel cameo fest. This makes me appreciate Skeleton Crew more because it had original characters and stood on its own. This is nothing but going backwards. I don't necessarily know. Well, I understand what you're saying there with your report, but I don't think by putting Natalie Portman in there, you're going backwards. I think that for A World Between Worlds, I think people wanted to see her in such a long time return. In general, she's not going to do a full series. She's not going to do a bigger role, but and because of where the character ultimately went, I don't think that necessarily hurts. If they were basing a whole series on it and just doing the whole thing, then maybe if they did a whole Clone Wars series, I see the argument around that. But yeah, I don't think this move means that. Although I don't totally disagree with your point, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I see the point of, because I was saying about bringing Jackman in for 10 years, right? The idea of just going back to the well over and over again. But look, it's what Filoni knows. And I think Star Wars is smart to trust him as the person to bring it to live action. These are his babies. So they want to see if they can trade in on the goodwill right now, because certainly Star Wars needs it. So we'll see if they get it right.
That's so funny. I'm so glad we covered that story, because I didn't see how many people that were asking this question. Dat Boy 22, thoughts on the reports that the Brutalist used AI to enhance Adrian Brody's performance could affect its award chances, or should it? I mean, I think we've pretty much covered it to death here, but it's funny because this is also why I do love the Monday show so much, is that and because John and I have such a long history together, we know how to have conversations with each other where we don't agree with one another and not start screaming at each other. It's just a matter of difference of opinion on this one, but we'll see what happens once. They haven't even announced the Oscar nominations yet because of everything going on in LA right now.
But the votes have already gone in. Oh, haven't they? Oh, no, I guess not. I guess they haven't been voting yet.
No, they haven't.
Oh, what a terrible thing to say just before the vote was about to start. Do you think it could affect? Because the question was, could it affect it? Do you think it will? Do you think
if you're Stephen King's talking about boycotting it altogether. Stephen King saying just don't do it. He said nobody cares about your little awards when people are trying to rebuild their houses.
Oh, that's a fair point. I think that's actually fair. Yeah.
It's like just do them. Almost do it like what you did with the pandemic. Yeah. It's like it's really tough. What did I tell you about the Critics' Choice Awards, by the way? You get the email?
Yeah, February 8th, right?
February 8th. And I was like, you can't. And
on Friday.
Yeah. Well, listen, at this point on February 8th, you have enough leeway to say, okay, we can do something. But I just think there's something about awards for movies right now.
Yeah.
When people lost everything.
No, I agree with you.
Maybe just cancel everything this year.
And Jeff and I talked about it on the hot mic, and Jeff had an interesting suggestion where you bring in the firefighters to be part of this. Like they present the award with the actors, and then you have a bit of a telethon or charity event and what have you.
That's not a bad. Like if you make everything to donate towards it, and they probably will do something like that. I bet you that they will. They'll probably definitely do something. I think all the award shows should do that. All the award shows should do that.
I would bring in Taylor Sheridan to produce it as well. I would.
Nobody gives a shit about this stuff right now.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Julius Wyatt, please let us have a Bills Commanders Super Bowl. Really don't want Eagles and Chiefs again. I don't know how Mark Andrews is allowed back in Baltimore.
That's so unfair. That is so unfair. Mark Andrews is one of the greatest tight ends to play the game. He is one of the main reasons you guys are even in the conversation for consecutively damn good seasons. He bailed out Lamar Jackson more times than I can remember. And you don't criticize Lamar Jackson's mechanics on that throw, and he is throwing to a stumbling backwards tight end. It was a bad decision, and he threw a bad ball. Yeah, Mark dropped it, but it's also snowing, and it's wet. So give him a break. And what about Lamar's interception, Lamar's overthrows, Lamar's fumble? For God's sakes, he choked again in a big game. This is what Lamar does. He chokes in big games. I don't care what he did in the second half. So don't put this on Mark Andrews, for God's sakes. Also, please stop saying we want a Bills Commanders Super Bowl, because that's going to give motivation to the Eagles and Chiefs to win. Everyone should just stop it.
Oh, I would love that, though. Stephanie Litz, Roka's Commanders have bigger balls than big balls.
I agree.
You think so?
Uh-oh. No.
What?
Don't you dare.
What? He doesn't jump on your face anymore. He just talks. But you think, what do you think? You think?
Hey, listen. Come here. Don't go
no.
nowhere. Hey,
you.
Look at this way, this side. I want to talk to you. I'm very proud of you and your Commanders. Because the original name was My Balls on Your Face.
See what I mean?
But I didn't do it. Hey, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
I don't mind violating your personal space.
Hey, I love the Outlaws. Whip me, baby.
Okay.
He's a menace. He's too early in the morning for big balls.
That's hilarious.
All right, let's see. What is the next one here? This is from Fallen District. No lie, though. I'm about to go to bed. I don't blame you. Me too.
Hey,
my wife this morning said, she's like, don't you have to get up? I was like, I'm not getting up. The snow kept me in bed. Evander Silva Lima. Hello. Greetings from Luxembourg. Hey, that's cool. Thank you. Following your show since I think 2022. I love that. And I have to admit, your show's pretty damn good. That's very nice. Roca, I'm rooting for you this time. Oh, okay. So I guess for the questions, I guess. Yeah.
No, I think for the Commanders, maybe. Maybe.
I don't know. He's from Luxembourg. Does he give a shit about football?
Maybe the question.
But 25 so far. So that's not bad.
Thank you, guys.
I think that's very nice. I'm always I do get excited. Look, I'm super grateful. There's so many people that have been with us since the Toad Hop days, the Schmoes days, the Collider days. I love combining them with the brand new people that have just we've what I have found is so interesting. I don't know why this is. I don't know if you've found this too, but live shows in general and long form shows, and they don't bring in new people really.
Right.
They don't. It's the shorter form stuff. It's people have found this show for newer people who have found that are watching this right now, whether you're watching on the replay or watching live. Newer people, I'd say within the last 3 years, from like 3.5 years, 2021 to now. How did you find us? Was it through a review and out of the theater reaction, a reaction in general? That's usually how people have found us and then transferred over to the live show. That's what I've been finding because it's interesting how that happens. But just curious. Mirror Domains. It's computer's performance, not Brody's.
Oh, shut up.
Don't tell him this. Don't tell him this. Shut up.
I'm going to tell him to shut up. For me,
why?
That's the stupidest thing in the world. It's computer's performance. He's not going, I am a Hungarian. I speak this way. Shut up. You don't know actors. You don't know what an actor does. I say that because it's insulting to the craft that I spent many years studying and perfecting, and nowhere near as good as Adrian Brody is.
But would you argue against the fact that it could be a computer's accent and not Brody's?
No, I will disagree with that. Again, it's tweaks. These chicken little guys like this guy, they drive me insane with this stuff.
But wait a minute. Let's
just
say
tweaks. The whole performance wasn't done AI.
But wait, let's say that you right now, say that you acted out a performance as Sylvester Stallone as Rocky in Rocky 2, right? Let's say you did a whole thing and you did a whole performance for us and you acted it out.
Yeah.
And then I used AI and I put Stallone's voice in there and
for the entire performance?
For the entire performance, I made it seem like it was your voice combined with him, but doing an impression of it, and it sounds like a dead-on impression of you doing an impression of Stallone. Is that you actually doing a performance of Stallone, or is that a performance of the computer?
That's much more of a nuanced conversation because I'm physically doing the performance, right? But you're seeing now. Should I? If why is Pedro Pascal get nominated? Shouldn't the guy who's behind the underneath the outfit get nominated with Pedro Pascal? Shouldn't that be a dual nomination?
100%.
That's the situation you're talking about, and that's a different approach to it. So that's a conversation you can have. But like, if I'm physically emoting everything you're seeing, then that's an element of the performance that can't be ignored. This is not
that's like the Andy Serkis conversation. How he used to get screwed for. I mean, he should have been. He should have been nominated many times for Caesar, many times.
100%, and that's the limited thinking of Oscar voters that they didn't nominate him because that's an actor delivering an incredible acting performance in those movies. For God's sakes,
Mike Joyce, if you could create your own Bitcoin, what would you name it? I would name it "I'm never doing this."
Well, if you can make $50 billion overnight, maybe.
I don't understand enough because what happened to the Haktua girl would easily happen to me because I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. When we were doing Schmodown, they tried to get us to do it. We did it for like 1 second. The audience revolted within seconds. And I called Skybound. I was like, "Take this down immediately. Let's take this down."
It would have been S with the dollar
I was
sign.
Like, I don't know what this is. I don't understand it as much too. We started to promote it, and I was like, "Okay, you guys think this is the way?" And it was legit. Yeah, it was legit. I just didn't like the audience response. I'm like, I don't understand. That's why I told myself I'm not doing things I don't understand anymore. Yeah. It's not like and I had a bunch of capable people around me that did know it and were assuring me, no, this is something we know how to do. You can. I'm like, yeah, but the problem is that like anything in that freaking show, they don't. The audience never thinks, oh, there's people around it. They point the finger at me.
Yeah.
Somebody says something stupid on Twitter, they point it at me. If somebody does, it was always pointed at me. So I was like, no, thank you.
You're the quarterback. You get the credit and you get the blame. That's the game, sadly.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
DUI champ. Initially, I was against Pattinson joining the DCU. Thought there would be too much of a tonal conflict. But if Daredevil can exist in the same continuity as WandaVision, Thor, and Agatha, maybe. I mean, yeah, it's like it depends on how it's executed, like anything else. It just depends on how it's executed. It could be, you could watch it and go, this tone does not fit that tone. Or you can watch it and go, wow, they really made that work.
But we're also having this conversation without even having seen Superman. So we don't know what the DCU overall tone is.
I think because when you have a dog that can fly and have powers, as opposed to like when you look at the world that Oz was living in
right.
The Penguin,
but you also have in that trailer people throwing shit at Superman as he's walking into a thing. So there's enough darkness in the trailer mixed in with a little bit of because the dog shows up because Clark is beat to hell, or what do you want to say, is beat to hell on the ground. So there is a lot of darkness in that trailer than people are giving. So this could be a much more easier transition than people know because we haven't seen the movie yet, whereas on the other side, Marvel's had, years to establish the universe in a certain way, but they've also had little dark pockets within it. And deaths. So why wouldn't Daredevil fit within that world?
Yeah. Ewok. What's up, Ewok? Did you see that David Krumholtz was cast as Supergirl's dad, Zor-El? I was happy to see this, considering he's such a massive comic book fan. He is a massive fan. Where did that come from? Did it come from? It wasn't Josh, was it? Was he? I saw the interview.
It was announced over the weekend. I don't know who.
I saw it. Yeah, but that's good. Yeah, good for him. I like him. I've always liked him. I think he's a very good actor. And
I liked him in Oppenheimer. I thought he was great.
Great in Oppenheimer.
Right.
Great in Oppenheimer. He reminds me of my friend Andrew Freed, who's been on this show many times.
Oh.
Xander Man, give Roka a shot by starting every show early. I know. Listen, there was only one person that I knew I could ask to go that early that would potentially say yes, because he's usually up at this time.
Yeah, I kind of am.
Or close to it. And I was like, let me cross my fingers and hope this guy can do this. And he did, thank God. So it allows me to do so much today. So Eric Kirby, John, how much blame do you put on Lamar Jackson for the game? Also, where is game time, sir? Shame on you, sir. It's a joke. Don't cuss me up.
Yeah, I put blame on Lamar for putting him in the hole in the first half. He played terribly in the first half and had to do a hero's job in the second half just to keep him close. But if it wasn't for that Ravens defense shutting down the Bills to only let them have 6 points in the second half, Lamar wouldn't have even had a chance to pull off his almost heroics in the second half. So I do put blame on Lamar for sure. And I don't know about game time, man. Winston and I haven't been able to lock down times. He's been really, really busy with a lot of stuff, plus the LA Fire stuff. And so there's a lot to figure out, but hopefully we can figure out a game time sometime today or tomorrow. But I'll let you know, Eric, for sure, because we want to preview the championship games for sure.
Dat Boy 22. As a Bills fan, I'm rooting for the Bills versus Commanders Super Bowl. Commanders have been playing great football. Yeah, let's just hope that they can stick with it. Don't start buying the hype. Start buying the hype.
I hope they shut everything down and don't let them see.
Don't let them see anything. That's what starts to happen. Yeah. First Rate Nate, what's up, buddy? Is the AIU similar to Audrey Hepburn lip singing in My Fair Lady? Hence, she didn't win.
That's a great point. Well, she didn't win because I think she was up against Julie Andrews, and no one was beating Julie Andrews that year.
But it didn't help.
Yeah, well, that's a fair point. But But people still love that performance, just like they love Natalie Wood in that West Side Story, and she didn't say a word of that entire film. So those are those things that you see that help to enhance a movie because you want to enjoy the movie. The point is to put out a good movie that people enjoy.
Arago, did you see Alien Ramos redid the VFX for home release? No. Did you see this, John?
I did. Is that AI? Is that cheating?
Well, that's no. There's a difference. There's a difference.
Okay. All right.
The difference is not. We're not saying again that you're not able to use it. You're just saying that when you're going up against somebody, is Romulus up for special effects?
I don't know. It probably might be.
Now, if it's up for special effects, the special effects, then it's the same conversation.
Okay.
If that version of the movie is the one that they're looking at to be compared, then it's the same conversation. I don't think it is. I don't even think it's nominated, and I don't think that's the version that's being submitted. So that they're the difference. I'm not because I'm very clear with you that if you have the tools and you have the access to use them, you should use them. But the thing is, if you're going up against people, that aren't using them, you're going to be judged on it, no matter what. But but I didn't see this. They redid the effects in general. What was the big choices that they did, John?
I think just smoothed out some of the overall look of the xenomorphs and just some of the stuff that people and the floating, acid or whatever it was that she had to kind of.
I like that. I like the way that looked originally. Did it look bad?
Some people felt it looked bad. Yeah. So, but they might have I was thinking they adjusted that.
I got so much crap for my reaction to that one. I said it looks like a janitor cleaning up a porn star. It's like, this is pretty messy. Carlton Rudder, same for me, Kristian, hence the headphones. Talking about being around with kids, people calling their names. I totally, I get it. I should wear the damn headphones. Jedi Johnson, when it comes to Star Wars, would you like to see more movies made or more streaming series?
Ooh,
right now, I want to see a new regime. I want to see a new regime because I want to see a plan. I want to see a writer's room. I want to see them, I really do hope that the Mangold movie comes out, crushes, and they start a path from there going forward in timeline and not jump around. Like do 25,000 years is when the Mangold thing happens, and then they do something, whether it's 10,000 years later, and then leading into the Knights of the Republic, whether that's movies, series, playing in that time period for 10 or 15 years, I'm saying our 10 or 15 years, and you make movies and TV shows within that time, and then you lead to Darth Bane and all that stuff, and then you can spend 20 to 30 years into that time period and not worry about all this other crap of the same stuff that you're talking about over and over and over again. So more movies, TV. I just want to see a plan.
I agree with you. I don't have a preference either way until we see a new regime.
Yeah.
Then I want to see possibly more movies and then an occasional streaming series. Yeah.
Nazara Hadali. Thoughts on Adam Driver as potential DCU Batman? I don't like it.
Yeah, you don't like it?
Nah, okay. I don't like it. I think Batman should be someone a little bit more unknown. Depending on age, right? Like if they're going with someone a little older, because Adam Driver's got to be close to 40 now. But so if they're going in that range, then I get it. It's just he's so tied into Kylo Ren and other things too, and he's like. I mean, he'd be bigger than Superman.
He's 41.
Yeah, he's big. I mean, he's 6'6"?
Tall dude.
Yeah,
for sure. 6'2".
Yeah, 6'2"?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
He plays like he's 6'6". So maybe he's not bigger than Superman
because of his voice.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I don't really see him as Batman. I'm really sold in this Brendan Sklenar thing now. Yeah, I'm really sold on that. Haskell 420. Hey guys, I missed the opening, so I don't know why you went live early. Kristian, how was your last snowfall back in home? Andrews dropped the 2-pass conversions, cost me a shot of splitting $10,000. Oh, if Baltimore won in a FanDuel, that's horrible. As far as the opening, we went early because I'm shooting the reaction with Sam today at the normal time that we shoot the live show, and it was the only time I can get her in here, and I want to make sure that I have that ready for this week because we're really on a momentum right now. People are digging it. We're bringing in a lot of new people. I think maybe even people who found the reactions are watching live. So I want to make sure that that's a priority to get that out there. John was gracious with his time to be able to do that this morning. So we did that. And the snowfall, as far as beautiful, but it's a pain in the ball bag this morning getting here because of it. But I'm sorry about that, Ed, that happened to you. That sucks. Carlton Rudder, loving the Sideways Cinephiles app, John.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that, Carlton. Part 2 coming this week. So Thank you so much.
Pete Parker, 2288. I'm still reeling from Coy hating the South Park movie. One of the hottest takes I've heard on this show in a while. Does John like the movie? John, you were at Florida State when that came out.
Yeah.
Did you see it at
I
Florida
love
State?
The South Park movie. Yeah, and I saw it at Florida State with the guys. Yeah.
I would not be surprised if you and I were probably in the same movie theater. It was that one. It was that one everyone used to drive to. But it was like the nicest one. It was jam packed, and I felt like I think so, and I felt like I was at a comedy show with 3,000 people. People were singing along, screaming and yelling and laughing. I watched their reaction over the weekend because I was like, let me see. I love Coy, and he'll push back on it. I don't think he got it. He was saying it seems like it's something the third grader who learned how to curse would do.
Oh my god!
But I don't think he understands like the actual intelligence behind that movie.
Yeah,
like, with the musical and everything else behind it. It's not just the juvenile jokes behind it. There's so much intelligence behind how those guys write and the things that they do and the play and the time with everything that was going on with Saddam Hussein. He was still alive. He was still alive at the time when that was going on. That movie is brilliant. It's one of the best comedies. I lose it. I just don't think those guys got it. And I love both Aaron and Coy. I just don't think I think the comedy was lost on them.
Aaron, which Aaron? I don't know who.
Aaron, really nice guy. He's on the Real Rejects channel. He's a really good dude. I like him a lot.
There's a lot of social commentary in that movie about war. It's an anti-war film. It's also a commentary about how the MPAA is okay with violence, but not with cussing or sexual situations.
Yep.
So there's a lot of commentary being made throughout the movie. Oh, and also essentially finger poking Saddam in his eye
while he was alive.
With the way they portray him and make him as this gay lover of Satan. So I think it's genius. It was nominated.
Really, it was nominated. It was nominated for. It was nominated for best song. Remember, Robin Williams saying that was the best.
It holds up. I watched it last week.
It's hilarious. I don't think. I just don't like. That's all that stuff that you just mentioned too. I'm telling you at the time because they're younger than us, right? So when that came out, like those references and everything that was going on at the time, they probably just see it and see fart jokes and dick jokes, and it's so much more than that. Mike. Hey, Roka, have you heard the rumor that Britt Baker is off of AEW TV because Tony Khan is fed up with her and she might be fired due to poor reputation? Thoughts?
Been saying this for years. She is a cancer in that locker room.
Yeah.
She seems like a sweet person outside of that locker room, but there is a competitive nature to her that she starts to undercut other wrestlers who challenge her. She's had issues with Thunder Rosa. She's had issues with Jamie Hayter. She's had issues behind the scenes with other people. Her and Adam Cole broke up because probably he couldn't handle it. And she's been in Tony's ear the whole time, kind of like worm tongue, to make herself better. And she's a medium level wrestler. She's never gotten better. Never. And so to me, it's like, why would you sacrifice so much of your success to listen to her when she's not delivering a good product on the air? So I'm glad that she's finally maybe she'll grow from this and be a better wrestler, be a better person. But I'm glad this is happening because she's just terrible on so many levels.
You know what's so funny is that I'm not very familiar with AEW. I mean, I've seen stuff too, but I know the name, and the way I know the name is because I've heard horrendous things about her backstage.
Yes,
that's how I know her. Yeah. Mr. I crap and shits. Good morning, gentlemen. John, congratulations to the Commanders. As a Browns fan, always pulling for the underdog. I hope they keep the momentum. I think that they are the Cinderella story right now.
We are right now.
100%. Listen, I'm pulling for them too. Everybody's pulling for them now, but that's the problem is that everybody's eyes are on them now. That's the worst when that happens.
Yep.
Fireside review. Sam's first meeting with Big Balls is the best. That was pretty great. Her reaction to him was amazing. Ewok, more support since Roka had to get up so early. Very kind. Yes, we're at 45, John. That's pretty damn good for the morning. Right. Pretty damn good.
How much?
Orca 447. Yesterday, Moana 2 made over $1 billion. Wow. You said it. You called it. You called it, John. I'll give you that one. Crazy comeback for Disney after 2023. They now have the top 3 movies of 2024. They have 3 movies that hit $1 billion in 2024.
I mean, Bob Iger, whatever you want to say, he came in and was like, you said, Kristian, last week. He said, what? You're making a series? F that. Put it all together, make a movie. Yeah. Bring The Rock back in. He'll do some dialogue, and we're good. Made over $1 billion.
And if they could have gotten Lin-Manuel Miranda back, they probably would have.
Yeah.
He just was busy at the time. But the other thing is, what was the other? Oh, yeah, and he's going to do the same thing for Mandalorian and Grogu. So we'll see. Yeah. Brandon Summers. Go Bucks. I hope you both are doing well.
Oh, the Buckeyes for tonight. That's right, Ohio State. That's right.
Yep.
There's an extra championship game tonight.
Fascia Bruta. Who? I asked an Oscar voter which movie they voted for Best Picture. The response was a complete unknown. I'd vote for Anora, then a complete unknown. For me, and it's only because I haven't seen The Brutalist yet, because I just don't have 8 hours of my life to watch a movie, then a complete unknown is what I would pick out of the ones that are up there right now. But I mean, well, Dune's not going to be. Oh, maybe Dune will be nominated. I would pick Dune personally.
I think Dune will be nominated, but it won't.
Dune's not going to. Dune has about as much shot as Top Gun Maverick had.
I'm so mad, man.
Yeah, I know. It should win.
I had a friend tell me over the weekend that he thought that A Completely Unknown was a pretty by the numbers biopic, and I'm like, what?
Not even close.
You're insane.
Yeah, that person saw a different movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Zeus Fleming. Battinson can be in the DCU. It's no different than the comics. People who don't read comics need to chill. I mean, look, but there is something to be said about if there is a world that is set up through film that doesn't seem like it's the same world. There are certain movies sometimes that happens in the same universe, right? There's like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem like that fits at all. You're speaking of Dune, right? The Dune TV show feels exactly like Dune the movie. It feels like it feels like it fits. There's sometimes that doesn't feel like it fits at all. So if that is the case, it's hard to do.
Yeah, I think so too. And you can't use comics because that's a different medium with a different set of parameters, right? Movies have a completely different set of parameters, and you're not dealing with just comic book fans. You're dealing with regular people, and those are the people you want to bring into your theater to see your stuff and maintain their connection to the universe. So you have to respect that.
Here's the next one. This is King.
Hey,
King support Cal. Love Cal. What's up, Cal? Toad Hop for me. Makuga laughing in the background, and the best part, Tiffany Smith. I understand. Then y'all showed up on AMC Movie Talk. I kind of missed those times. It's so funny and it's maybe because hindsight type thing, right?
Yeah.
I love those times, and the Toad Hop and AMC was a good opportunity, and it was I met some great people throughout it though. But it's like if I could go back knowing what I do now, and John, you'd be like, what? I probably wouldn't even done Schmoedown. I love Schmoedown, love it, and I love it very much. But knowing what I do now, and knowing the way that like YouTube works and what I could do with my show and the way that I've said this when I started. Yeah. I said it when I started this channel. It's the happiest I've been. It's the best vibe. I think it's the best version of me that I've ever done this thing. If I could have done that back then I would have.
But I also say that if you hadn't gone through all the things you want,
100%,
right?
It's the road. You wouldn't have been able to do that. But I'm just saying there were certain aspects and certain things that I could have done. Like even I always talk about this. I probably, if I could go back and do it again, I would have stuck with just me and Mark. In it was 2010 is when we started the Schmoes show, and it was just he and I with an engineer. I would have kept that format forever with bringing and then guests come in, and that's it. That's what I would have. Guests come in, me, Mark, an engineer, co-host comes in, does a thing, and that's it. And that's our show, and that's what I would have done. I would have stuck to that all the way through. Right. But I'm glad that people also, there's a lot of people and a lot of laughs that people have had throughout that time. So Ewok, I feel bad for Brody because he obviously gave a great performance aside from the AI usage, but I think that's a very fair point. But I think the Oscar will now go to Timothy Chalamet, and I wouldn't hate that. I think Timothy Chalamet is so good.
I did a great job.
So good.
I don't know, but is that how you want to win an Oscar? I don't know.
Well, you don't necessarily know. You don't. No, you don't know. Facile Bruta. Your bagel cream cheese combos. Mine is plain strawberry. I'll tell you what. It was a lot easier to avoid bagels in LA. There is a spot over here now that I just love. We go here. It's a great spot, and I get my two. Well, I got a couple go-tos, but it's either the onion bagel or the garlic bagel with cream cheese.
Oh. Or
I've been getting the onion bagel with the bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh, nice.
So good.
There's a Bruegger's bagel, which I love. I love Bruegger's bagels. So I only go to it once a week. I'm only allowed to go once a week because I agree with you. I love bread, and bagels would fatten me up like crazy. So my combo is usually turkey sausage, egg, and cheese on sesame, and then pumpernickel with strawberry cream cheese.
I know your spot used to be because it was my spot too. Bagel Broker.
Yeah, Bagel Broker. Oh my God, I'd walk over there.
That was the best. Yeah, but still, people don't realize this. It was hilarious that you and I didn't even realize this.
Yeah,
for about 2 or 3 years, John and I literally lived with it. Like it would take me 33 seconds to walk from my apartment to his apartment, and and the way we found that out, I was one time walking my old dog Taz.
Yeah,
and I walked by I used to walk around the block. And right before the alley that would go to my place, I would walk by this place, and I saw John come on. What the hell are you doing? He's like, I live here. I said, how long you live here? About 2 years. I'm like, holy shit. I never saw him. hilarious.
I know. I remember that conversation. It was just as the sun was going down. We were having a fun. Yeah, and they were telling me all about the show. So I remember thinking to myself, like, come on, you guys are going to think you're going to be big on YouTube talking about films?
Everybody, you and thousands of other people.
Yeah, because I was like caught in the whole Ebert mindset.
Yeah.
And had I listened to you, had I known or tried to get on with you from that point on, who knows how my life would have changed. But yeah.
You never know. Yeah, so we're just talking about
You're
hindsight.
100% right, man.
Mr. I crap and shits. Kristian, I love the MCU reactions with Sam. I have a suggestion. You have a small issue coming up. Spider-Man is coming soon, but she's barely seen the previous movie. Oh, there's no she's never seen any of the Tom Holland movies. She's only seen the first Tobey Maguire movie, and she doesn't remember it. So,
interesting.
So we're gonna do is we're gonna watch all that stuff up to Phase 4, and then right before No Way Home, we're gonna watch all the Spider-Man movies, then go into No Way Home.
Yeah.
So she doesn't remember any of them anyway. So because I wanted her to have the impact of No Way Home. You know, she won't have it if she doesn't know those movies.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Brandon Summers, what's up, Brandon? Who would you rather run Lucasfilm? Who would you rather run Lucasfilm, and how, or would you restructure on the creative side? I'd really like Gilroy to take on another Star Wars project. I'd like to see him do another project. I wouldn't like to see him run Star Wars, but I said this before. I would want an executive that you don't know. In the same way that you had or a producer who you don't know. You didn't know who Kevin Feige was when he took over Marvel. Nobody knew it. You knew who Kevin Feige was when he started giving you, good movies. That's when you started to learn who he was. I don't need a Jon Favreau in there who's got 1,000 other things on his plate. I don't need a Filoni who's just got one idea of what Star Wars should be. I want the idea of that creative executive who understands how to put the things in place. And it's very, remember like Theo Epstein when he took over the Red Sox and then he took over the Cubs. You need a guy like that. You need a guy who knows, who's a fan of the game and can put together the pieces.
Yeah. And don't be like James Gunn being on Twitter all the time or social media all the time as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Stephanie Litz. Minus 25 in Minnesota. Yeah, the weather's crazy right now. What are the best cold weather movies? Everest is my pick.
Oh, that's a great.
Everest is an underrated movie.
Yes, agreed.
It's a good movie.
Yes.
I would not pick Alive in that one. I'll tell you that. Tough.
Or Society of the Snow. Hello.
Yeah. I would take Batman and Robin so you could see Mr. Freeze.
Oh, there you go.
Cool off. Come on. You got one in a warm weather movie?
Snow stuff? Is there big snow movies? I love movies in the snow, but I don't know how many I would pick necessarily.
I don't know why every time it snows.
Yeah.
When I guess I was a freshman in high school, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe I watched Beauty and the Beast, the animated version, with my ex-girlfriend, and we got Big Macs.
Nice.
And I always remember watching that movie in cold weather, eating Big Macs. I don't know why, but that's why.
I'll throw two of them out there. Wind River, which is awesome.
Oh, it's a good one.
Taylor Sheridan film. And then The Gray. I think that's also
great.
Nobody talks about
phenomenal. Everyone should talk about it. Yeah, Frank Grillo, Liam Neeson, Joe Carnahan directed. Phenomenal. That was the first movie I remember seeing in January that changed my idea that you actually could put good movies out in January.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Great job on that film. Yeah.
Zeus Fleming, Anson Mount or Josh Hartnett as Batman. I don't know if I know Anson Mount. Who's Anson Mount?
He's the captain on Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
Well, that's why I don't know him. He looks familiar. I don't know his work, so I'd have to say Josh Hartnett.
I'd have to go Anson, but I doubt he'd do it.
Yeah,
he's already playing Captain Pike. I don't know if he'd jump over and do Batman, but
enough money would.
The older Batman. He's certainly cool to do it. Yeah.
Rago. The Aliens VFX they updated was for Rook's face. Oh, that's probably good. It made it look a lot better. Yeah, that definitely needed work. I'll tell you that. That definitely needed work. So I'd actually like to see that.
Yeah.
Ronetta, what's up, Ronetta? Hey beauties. Wishing you and everyone a happy Dr. Martin Luther King Day. To same to you. Let's use this day for introspection and thoughtful conversation. Love you. Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's so funny too, is the fact that you and I are working today. Where, it's like because my daughter this morning, she goes, it was sad because last night she goes, what time you got? She said, I'm getting up, whatever time she's getting up. And I go, yeah, I got to leave at like whatever time. And she goes, what do you mean? She's like, everybody has off tomorrow. I go, not me. I don't know. I don't get days off.
Not small business owners. Yeah.
Captain Penis says, I'd love to see Kristian go on the Cinephiles. I think have I been on that before?
No, I mean, well, we have to pick a movie, and you'd have to commit to like 2 to 3 hours. You've said in the past, it's tough for you to commit to that much time.
Long is
maybe.
Yeah. Well, but Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
We haven't done it yet, so
that's one I would do.
Okay.
Yeah. Eric Kirby. Kristian, let's talk about your Giants. Should they fire Brian DeBall? Fire everybody. What movie trailers do you guys think will air during the Super Bowl? Yeah, as for our first question is, I think they need to make some cuts. But as far as movies trailers, I think are going to be Super Bowl. Superman probably again. Yes. They're going to get that dog thing right afterwards too. It's going to be another look at Superman. You think we get Fantastic Four?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Do. Fantastic Four.
At least a
teaser for sure. I don't know. There's probably some ones that are like, oh yeah, that's a no given. A no-brainer. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to get that one. Do you think there'll be another Thunderbolts?
Maybe. You probably
have to get people excited.
Maybe. Yeah. They probably do another Captain America again. This is the ones that they've been showing already. Same ones that have been showing.
Sure.
And then are there any animated ones that are coming out? The Ilio or whatever it's called.
Oh, maybe an Ilio. Maybe a Minecraft movie. More of those.
Yeah, probably Minecraft.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Those are some of the ones that come to mind. DUI Champ, wouldn't a Star Wars prequel 25,000 years before the Empire be about 8 cavemen fighting over the sacred pissing pond? Maybe. Let's look again. It's the same thing when you talk about like Dune, right? Time works a little differently in the Star Wars universe. Cupcake Bliss, 1 out of 2. Hey team, I have a question regarding AI on an actor's performance, whether they should be nominated or not. Okay, we'll get to your question, your part 2 in just a moment. But here's Julius Wyatt. Can't wait for Denis to get snubbed on Thursday. Yeah, that's probably going to happen too. Cupcake Bliss follows it up. What is the line that directors shouldn't pass when using AI in films? If the lines keep moving up, then what stops a director from using AI to manipulate an actor's emotions or even create its own actor, like the film Simone? That's my kind of point, John. And I think Cupcake Bliss makes a great point, is that if you can, when do the barriers start to get in? Because that's going to happen. They're going to start to do things, because if, let's say the Brutalist wins, right? Yeah. And then they go, okay, well, it won. It was able to do what it did. Let's push the boundary next year and then do this. And then they do that and they win. When does someone come in and go, okay, you can do this, but you can't do that?
That's what the negotiations were about with the strike. So it all depends on the actors, because the actors have to give permission. People forget. It's not like once you shoot it, they can do whatever they want with your image and your likeness. Right. That's not how it works. The actors will have to give permission for them to use AI to change or alter. Or,
but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what.
That's what this second question is.
No. But they're asking as far as like, but when it comes to awards, though, right? Like, at what point do you go, okay, look, your film loses credibility, or not credibility? You can't be in the same way that Dune 2 wasn't allowed to be nominated for the Oscars for its score because it had been reused stuff. It's like, okay, you can use AI because it's in the agreement that you can use it. Yep. The actor's okay with it. But if you use it this much to do this, then you are no longer in contention.
Yeah, I would agree. If it gets to the point where it's a fundamental change in the actor's performance, then it shouldn't be nominated. It shouldn't be in consideration. But I think directors understand this, because look, it's not like directors can't be kicked out eventually because of AI as well. I mean, AI can make a whole movie without even needing a director. So that's a possibility in motion as well. So if directors start to push the line more and more, I think that's where the danger comes. Where you'll see that happen, though, is in the non-union films. Because non-union people don't give a crap, and most non-union producers love to abuse their actors and their creatives and make them and do whatever they want with the movie and sign contracts that they can do what they want to these people's performances. That's where you're probably going to see more of the AI abuse, if there is going to be that. But I think the well-respected directors, the directors who are working in the studio system, are not invested in destroying that line. And if the line gets pushed, it'll be pushed gradually. It will not be pushed overnight, because more and more people are going to use it. But like, what do you think is going to happen here? You can't keep plugging the holes. Eventually, the water is going to overcome everything. We will have AI,
Fascia Bruta, a movie you love that you used to hate. For me, it's Dark Knight Rises. I'll tell you, I don't know if hate's the right word, but I had a strong dislike for it, and now I like it a lot. I'm actually looking forward to the upcoming rewatch of it, and that's Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh yeah, Right.
I did not like that movie the first time I saw it, a couple different times, and then when I rewatched it, I don't know why I rewatched it. I think we were doing it for Capes or something too, and now that we have it coming up for with Sam, I'm pretty excited for it. So I would say that one. How about yourself?
Casino is probably my number
wow.
one. I did not like it the
Wow.
first time I saw it. I really thought it was a terrible Goodfellas retread.
Wow.
And then subsequent years, I've watched it and I love the movie.
So
I still, Sharon Stone, I'm still kind of half in, half out on what her storyline, but like overall, I think the film is incredible. So yeah, I've changed a lot on that movie.
Fair enough. Victor 5001 saw the Better Man movie and I loved it. So creative. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I've seen about 45 minutes of that so far.
Good.
I'm going to finish it off today. I really did like. I really do like it. I was surprised initially. I was like, but then it grows on you and it becomes really good. Yeah.
Okay. Renetta, I'm so ready for 2025 year movies, drama, action, comedy, superheroes, and everything in between. I'm ready to go all out with my AMC A list. This is the year to have it. I'll tell you that. There's a lot of big movies coming out. This is a huge movie year for sure. Yeah. I'm excited for and TV too. I didn't start watching Severance season 2 yet. Did you, John?
Not yet. No. I got to catch up. Yeah.
Right now and later, just showing a little love, enjoying the show as always. Thank you so much. Right now,
thanks,
John. I'm impressed, man. You're almost at 60. It's pretty
wow.
damn good. It's 58. It's pretty damn good.
Nice.
Al Rencha, Transformers disappoints because the two best movies they have done, they screwed up. Franchise was dead before Bumblebee, and one was not marketed right. Facts. You going to disagree on that, John?
I don't know how a franchise that made $4.5 billion is dead, but
it's dead.
Okay.
It stinks, those movies, those ones you're talking about.
It could be that the fact that you didn't bring back Michael Bay is the reason those films aren't making money. Bumblebee and Transformers.
He was a producer on both.
Yeah, but he's not the director. It's a different game. You know that. Spielberg produces everything. It doesn't mean it's good. Spielberg love it.
I know.
If they brought back Michael Bay to direct the Transformers movie, watch how much money.
I hope you're wrong. I feel
know
like
you want to hope I'm wrong.
But I'm not. But you notice I didn't say that. Yeah. You will be wrong. I'm saying I hope you're wrong. Fascia Bruta, did you know that Josh Hartnett turned down Nolan's Batman? I did not know that. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow. Eric Kremp, my dudes. Anson Mount is Black Bolt in the MCU.
No. Anson Mount was Black Bolt and was killed in an alternate universe in Multiverse of Madness, so it doesn't really count. And they haven't wrapped in Humans, which he was Black Bolt in the TV show. They have not said that is MCU. So
it's tomato.
So you've got it all wrong here, clearly.
It's tomato. Harv's X. Would you equate AI enhanced dialect for an actor with using autotune for a singer? Maybe.
Depends on the singer. Like
it's PEDs,
obviously with J-Lo,
PEDs.
No, like with J-Lo, it is absolutely auto-tuned and what have you. So you can criticize her songs. But if you're saying like, I say someone is like Adele and you made some tweaks to like Adele's performance, it's still Adele for God's sake. So yeah, no.
Okay. So
I know I hear you.
I'm auditioning for so let's say I'm friends with that editor, right? And I'm auditioning for a movie and they're like they require a heavy French accent.
Yes.
And I'm like, I know this character really, really well.
Uh-huh.
I really know it well. They want me to go on tape with the French accent. Hey, can you help me? And I use it. And I submit it and my performance is wonderful.
Yeah.
But the accent was from this dude. I'm gonna be in deep shit when I hit that thing, but I still might get the job.
Yeah, until they find out. And when they find out, they've got to make a decision whether they want to go forward with the project with you or not.
And they got to make sure they got to go through if they want to vote for that movie or not.
Exactly. Well, sure.
Totally that's the whole thing. Ewok. Couldn't one argue that every actor's performance is manipulated by the editing, excuse me. The only time you'll see a truly authentic performance is at play. Yes, there's a difference though with editing from like you're not wrong because like you can edit a performance and if there's a take of an actor running with a serious moment and then it makes a silly face and the audience laughs when they're not supposed to because the editor left that in. Yes, then the performance is hurt. But there's also a difference with like in the way that you're saying words if it's not your words in the same like when Hercules Goes Bananas with Arnold Schwarzenegger was not his voice. They finally put his regular voice back in there, but like or Gina Carano's voice in what was that movie that she did?
Haywire.
That was my favorite, dude. That was my favorite thing when Mark Ellis and I saw that. I knew Carano from MMA.
Yeah,
I watched her. I had seen her press conferences. And I remember saying in my review, that's not her voice. And people were like, no, that's her voice. And I'm like, what do you mean? That's not her voice. And they're like, no, that is her voice. I'm like, no, it is not her voice.
Yeah.
And like just the voice performance, it was different. It was a different voice.
That's a separate comment because Laura San Giacomo did the voiceover for Gina Carano. That's what people have said, that Laura San Giacomo. She's never confirmed it. Gina's never confirmed it, but clearly it was her voice, and I would argue that makes the film a better film. Her voice work combined with Gina's acting.
And what if it was nominated? What if she was nominated for the Oscar?
There's no way that performance would be
I know she wouldn't have.
Was you'd have to reveal that it was another. So in that point, that's a different situation.
It's tricky
because that's not a tweak. That's the entire performance.
Well, yeah, but anyway, we can talk about this forever. Retro Rebels. Happy Monday, gents. Had a debate with some fellow Rebels over the weekend after a few beers and would love your input. Which theme song is more iconic? Danger Zone or Eye of the Tiger? Eye of the Tiger. Eye of the Tiger.
I have to say Eye of the Tiger.
Eye of the Tiger. There's no Eye of the Tiger. If you play, because now that was just playing in the grocery store I was in the other day. If you turn to someone in the grocery store and said, what movie is this from? Now, they won't say Rocky 3, but they'll say Rocky.
Yeah.
If you put on Danger Zone, they might not guess Top Gun at all. The first Top Gun, John and I would get it in a heartbeat, but not everybody. Everybody would guess. From my 7-year-old, everyone would guess Rocky from Eye of the Tiger. There's no argument.
Yeah, and think about it. I mean, that's a franchise, right? Yeah. Top Gun was not a franchise until Maverick 30 years later. So people know Eye of the Tiger much more than Danger Zone.
And it was also Hulk Hogan's first theme song before the Real American song.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Darth Vader's burnt asshole.
Ew.
Just curious, Kristian. You often say that you think the DCU having multiple Batman stories is confusing, yet championing the idea of Toby and Andrew Garfield getting more Spidey movies. What's the difference? Huge difference. Major difference. The difference is, and this is what I've said, because the difference is those two characters were introduced together with the third Spider-Man in a movie. So they were already put into a narrative to the audience that saw them, that it's no longer confusing. In a movie that made $1.6 billion, people who saw that movie said, oh, those are characters in the movie and they live in separate universes.
Yeah.
So when you make the movies about them, it's separate universe movies that is not confusing anymore because it took place in that narrative. And people who were confused, you can direct them to No Way Home and say, go see that, because they're from different universes.
Yeah,
that's why. It's because it's part of the narrative. Now, if they would have just started making separate Spider-Man movies at the same time without them being all together, then there is no difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree. Yeah. 100%. Everything you said. Nothing to add.
63 so far, John. Pretty damn good. Al Rencha, Roca, Bay Transformers 5 made $500 million less.
Yeah, eventually, yes, it got to that point. But that's all you guys have to hang on to, don't you? You're like, well, the last one didn't make that much.
Yeah, because it keeps going down because he stinks. Yeah,
but the story was ridiculous in that movie as well. I mean, King Arthur, for God's sakes, it was
so
not
bad.
that
Merlin was the worst.
Merlin. Oh, sorry, Merlin and King Arthur. Yeah, it was just ridiculous. So, but I think if he comes back, because it's been such a long time, and you have a better story, people will go crazy for it. Trust me on that.
Fascia Bruta, David Lynch, R.I.P. Yeah, we talked about it the day when people broke it in the comment section when it happened, and we talked about it. I'm sure you got to be doing a Cinephiles episode on some David Lynch stuff, right?
I'm not a David Lynch person, not that strong of a David Lynch person, but respect to David Lynch. So
got it.
Maybe we'll do Elephant Man or The Straight Story if we do it. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's see. I think we got one more. We have one more. And that is, Eric Krempa.
Hey.
Haha, love the impression, Roca. I have your same glasses. By the way, I love that hack Evil John Madden trying to steal my thunder of a Kroll remake. I said it first. Love you guys. Yeah, Kroll is would be a good one to do. And you know what my little one is it going into a remake idea. My oldest is actually a big 80s movie fan, right? So we were talking about some of the 80s movies, because she's writing this story and she was telling me about this like town that is suppressive, and I go, "You ever seen Footloose?" She goes, "No, what's that?" So we started watching Footloose last night with her, and as we were looking through, the remake came up, And I go, should we watch the remake? And my wife goes, no. I like the remake. I do.
What?
I like Craig Brewer's version of it. I do. It's not anywhere near the original.
Yeah.
But I like I like that movie. And I remember saying it when it came out, and I liked what Craig Brewer did with that one, but that's not what I would show her. We watched
that movie is such a fantastic time capsule.
Oh, it really is.
Cow is still working. Diane Wiest.
Yeah. What happened to Laurie Singer? She was great in that movie.
She had a little bit of a run and then just didn't quite.
Yeah.
She might have just been, like, you know what? I don't want to be in Hollywood anymore.
Maybe. She was great in that movie.
She was damn good in that movie. Yeah.
Eric Kirby, Brett Hitman in his prime, Stone Cold in his prime. Who wins the match and why? Well, they kind of fought in their primes.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and that's when that one of the classic matches of all time when when Stone Cold became a face and Hart became a heel in the same match. Pretty great. Yeah. Also, Junkyard Dog in his prime versus CM Punk. CM Punk. They used to job Junkyard Dog all the time.
Which JYD? Are you talking about JYD in the Independents down before he became WWE? Because JYD was a dog in the Independents. He was winning titles in the Independents. So depends on which JYD you're talking about.
Yeah,
Punk. I'm a Punk guy.
Punk, yeah. Pete Parker, 2288, Casino over Goodfellas.
Whoa! I wouldn't go that far.
I can understand someone saying it. I can understand someone. I'm not on that page, but I can understand someone saying it. It's a great movie.
It is good.
It's a great movie. This is the last one for now.
Okay.
Gabe Oliveira, 805. Brutalist AI controversy thoughts on awards. Wait. Gabe must have just started tuning in. Gabe, I would recommend rewatching the show. I think we talked about it at least 8 times. I can give you the summary of it is that John is more on the side that it shouldn't have an effect on it. I'm more on the side that depending on how much is used, I think it should have an effect. And I think
about the hour mark or 55-minute mark we started talking.
Yeah, we talked about it for quite a while, like a few different times. So I would just recommend go and check that out. Someone said Wolf of Wall Street better than both. I'm not gonna fight someone on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I'm not gonna fight somebody on that.
Film.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Retro Rebels. Roka would love to show more support, brother. Do you run live shows? And if so, what time? I'm a big fan of you guys out here in Arizona. Danger zone when I walk in the gym. Eye of the tiger when I walk in the bedroom. Hell yeah. I think it's the bathroom or the bedroom, I guess. John, you do live shows quite often.
I do. Yeah. I do live shows on my channel. Just sometimes I'm in the mood. Like last week I was in the mood and did a live stream about the Justin Baldoni stuff and the Neil Gaiman allegation. So it's all just about me getting, but I've seen what Kristian's doing in the mornings, and there may be a thing where I might start doing some drive time stuff, a couple nights a week, maybe 4:00 or something like that, just to have some fun. So maybe some more consistent live shows are coming in 2025, but we'll see. All about depends on the time.
Well, look at this. So now, man, you had a good run here, John. Stephanie Litz, another cold weather movie, Hateful Eight extended cut. Hell yeah. It's good. I think it's pretty good. Ending with 69. There you go.
Yeah.
Boom. Oh, no, I lied. Eric Kirby, Kristian, Big Balls merch. Where is it? It's so funny that there's potential that I could make the Big Balls merch. The problem is, I wonder, it's like half the audience loves them, half the audience despises them. So it's like, would it be worth it to put it there? I'd be so curious to see. You're gonna walk around with a chipmunk with big old balls and dick and balls. So I don't know. People would, I guess. Tom Benjamin, your Commanders broke my heart. Please win the Super Bowl.
Sorry, buddy. I hope we can. We'll see what happens. I hope we can.
So 71, John. Most impressive. 72. Wow, they're not letting me sign off. This happens sometimes. Joshua Gonzalez, Raging Bull is where it's at. Again, hard argument. I love Raging Bull. We did
that on the Cinephiles. That was a blast.
Great movie. Billy Miles, Roka, where is your top 10 list for 2024? You still haven't done that?
No, I still haven't done it. I'll do it this week.
You're full of shit.
I know. I'm busy. Guys. I'll do it this week. I promise. I'll do it this week.
I want to see that list, man. All right. So you seen any movies this week?
Big Balls is number 1.
You see, good. You seen anything in the theater? Nothing's coming out this week. Right?
Nothing's coming. No, I got to catch up on Den of Thieves 2, and I got to catch up on Sonic. So I'm going to catch those up this week for sure. Yeah.
All right. Listen, we did it. Thank you guys for being here on this early edition of the show. For everybody who tuned in, appreciate it. For John, give him one more time. Where can they find you?
Please find me on social media at The Roka Says on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Also, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Roca Says, or just type in the Outlaw Nation Roca. It'll come up, and subscribe to it. So close to 40,000 subscribers. We'd love to have you guys come aboard and see all the great content we do over there and have fun with us over there as well. And thanks, Kristian. Much love. Great to see you, brother, man. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great Monday.
Thank you, John. Thank you to John Roca for being here today. Thank you for you guys. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Make sure you check us out. We're going to put that reaction of Ant-Man up tomorrow with myself and Sam. So make sure you check that out. We'll also have Civil War, Captain America Civil War on Friday. So check that one out. And that's it for now. So make sure you comment, do everything else you need to do here. Appreciate you. And we'll see you guys on the flip side. Thanks again. Bye-bye.